Welcome back to part 2. If you haven't seen part 1, I'll leave the link in the description. It's definitely worth a look, as we were mostly Newquay and Padstow way at the start of our trip. So today we headed off to Tintagel. It was the first of our days that we'd moved further up the coast. If you're into all things like crystals and witches and stuff like that, Tintagel is definitely the place to come. It's also got a lot of history behind it, so it's really interesting. We didn't actually do any of the history points today, but we did have a little wander around. So this is the campsite, or not campsite, but parking area that you could park at. I believe it is £7 a night, open from 8 till 8. There is a toilet over there, but I don't think it's of use of this car park. But yeah, might try it out on Sunday night. As we left the site pretty early, we didn't actually have any breakfast, so we headed straight to the pub. It was the King Arthur's Arms, and we had a really nice breakfast. Both went for an egg and sausage sandwich, which was really nice, and just took a little wander around the town, just some quirky things. I loved this little setup in the window. Somebody had made all of those. Everything looked so good. The little jam jars. There was like a rotisserie chicken. It was incredible. And then we headed off to Boss Castle. Boss Castle was actually flooded back in 2004. In this next clip, you'll see just up there, the little plaque next to Sharon's Place sign is actually the flood level, and then here are some horrible photos actually of what happened. But as you can see in these next clips, the village is back to its normal self. It's beautiful. We love coming here. It's really special to us. We always walk up to the top and have a little picture at the top, and this time we actually came down the bottom and we had a lovely cream tea as a reward for walking up to the top of the rock. In previous years we've seen lots of horses riding through this little river. Wasn't any today, but it was still so beautiful. The tide was out, so there's quite a lot of harbour, if you want to call it that. Lots of dogs playing in the stream further down. And then we started our climb. It's so rewarding when you get to the top. The climb is made up of loads of like slate layers, so it is a little bit tricky underfoot. But we managed to get this lovely photo at the top where I set my tripod up, and we just sat up there for a bit and just enjoyed the view. Most years Callum treats himself to a new wallet from this leather shop. Unfortunately they didn't have any of the ones that he has normally, so we didn't get anything, but we still took a little visit there. We then headed up to Bude along the Atlantic Highway. This is somewhere that I've always holidayed as a child, and me and Callum have been so many times. There's so many things that we remember from our previous trips. One of our favourites is this viewpoint area from the top near Widmouth Bay. We had hoped to actually stay here one night, however there's a new sign that says no camping overnight, unfortunately. So we had a look up there and then headed down to the river. They had a little market on today, so we wandered around the stalls and then headed up into the main town after getting a drink, as it was so hot. Enjoyed watching this lady through the window making fudge. We grabbed a few gifts for our friends and families back home, and then headed to Woodview campsite, which was our next site that we were staying at. This was the little shop area, very small. The campsite was a very, I'd say, outdated campsite. It was fine for what we needed it for, but we probably wouldn't head back there again. We pitched our little toilet tent and then headed on a drive round through Widmouth Bay. Stopped at Widmouth Manor for a drink, And then we went off to Bideford, as Callum really likes the little ice cream van there. So we got an ice cream. Went to McDonald's because we really wanted the chocolate pie, but they didn't have any, and the McDonald's are really rare around here. It's about 30 minutes drive from each one. So we gave up on that idea. This was the campsite. I think you can probably see what I mean. The toilet block at the bottom probably needs updating. However, we did find a nice little fire pit area at the bottom near the river, which is where we spent our evening burning a fire. Headed to bed, and we actually decided not to stay the next day, as we were going to make tracks and head to the last couple of places we wanted to visit and then head home. This was me in the morning, ready to head off to the showers to get ready for our day. Callum was already packing the van up for us to head off. We then went to our friend's farm, who I've grown up with. We used to come on holiday here every year and stay in their holiday cottage. So we headed in, had a look at the little cows. There were so many calves that they had this year. Then popped our head in the milking parlour, said hello to the doggo, and had a nice little catch up with them. When we used to stay here when I was a child, I used to get up early in the morning, help with the milking, and go and feed the calves with their grampy, which is their granddad. And you'd always see me wandering around in my wellies or on the quad bike trying to help out the best I could. Didn't ever want to go to the beach with mum and dad, just wanted to stay back at the farm. We then jumped in the van for our final bit of our road trip, headed off to Braunton via Barnstable, had a little wander around there at the shops, and then headed off to Ilfracombe. This is one of Callum's favourite places. On the way there, we passed through Bideford, which is where we were the couple of nights before getting the ice cream. If you're ever staying in Braunton, I 100% recommend you go to this pub, the Williams Arms. It does amazing carveries and also Squire's fish and chips. That was a little clip there. Went into one of the surf shops. Callum saw some nice t-shirts, and then we headed to Ilfracombe. When I was younger, I used to sponsor for many years a dog at Dogs Trust. It was at this one. He was called Spike, and then one called Bounty. Every time we came to stay, I used to have a visit to go and see him. Every year we come, we seem to get really lucky with a spot on the harbour car parking. It's really handy to come here because then you can go up and down the town and then you see this beautiful view. We always say that this looks like an elephant, the trunk at the front, and then from the top you can see like the legs. But this statue is called Verity. It's actually been at Ilfracombe for quite a little while now. It is really strange. One side is like the open insides of it with a pregnant belly, and then the outside is just normal. It was made by Damien Hirst, and I actually believe it's on loan to Ilfracombe. I'm sure I've read that somewhere, but I might be wrong. And then this is a little view of the harbour. The water is so blue here. You can get boat trips over to Lundy and little trips around the bay to see the seals. We grabbed an ice cream from Joey's. We both got Kinder Bueno. It was so nice. And then we headed off to Woolly. Woolacombe is known for somewhere that has got the best surf. The beach is amazing. The other end is Putsborough and the beach is miles long. There's always parking along this front, but it was so busy we didn't manage to get a space. We then headed off down on our journey home. We stopped via Linton and Lynmouth. This was a 25% gradient hill, and luckily we only went down it in Dobby as we found a different way to come back up. Down here there is a cliff railway, which we've done previous years. We didn't do this year as it was just a flying visit, just to have a little look. But yeah, you can do that and it is really good fun. Don't think it's too expensive. Got some nice little shops down there and some beautiful views. They have these escape lanes to the left if you're worried about your brakes. But yeah, it is pretty steep and it goes round I think about 3 times. And then you finally get to the bottom and yeah, you're right at the bottom of the valley. We then started our journey home. We headed off, I want to say on the coastal road, but I'm not sure it was. And you go through this area where all the sheep are roaming free. And then towards the end, we actually saw some wild horses. They are trapped in with cattle grids, so they can't really get anywhere. But they were sort of walking across the road. We did say this would be a pretty cool park up, but I'm pretty sure you'd probably get some noise outside from the sheep trying to get in. But yeah, it was lovely. It was a good start to our journey home. We said that this was really nice as the first hour of our journey home was all roads like this. And then we hit the M5 and the M4 and our real journey home started. We definitely had the best week weather-wise. We wouldn't have changed it at all. Yes, we did head home a little earlier. We don't go back to work till Thursday, but we're going to enjoy some time at home and our local area. We saw this Ghostbusters van on a tow truck on the way back. Finally got to the A12 as it started to get dark. We made it in really good time. It was just over 5 hours and Callum did really well. Dobby didn't miss a beat the whole holiday and we were back home to our little boys. Thank you again for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and ring that bell for more.